Hello there ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's Alexander Hilly123 here and it's time for a new video, and as you can see from the title, today it's time for a new albums ranked worst to best video. Quite simply, what this video is going to entail is me talking about the hip-hop group, rap group Starr and ranking their albums worst to best. I'm going to leave a link in the drop down box featuring a playlist of all the worst to best that I've done so far. If you're a big fan of this genre of music, then I've got to say that it's mostly rock music that I've done so far. I'm a rock man, mostly rock, metal and progressive rock, alternative stuff. Not massive on hip hop and rap, but I do like some. It's not like funk or jazz or ska music or reggae shit like that, which I just don't like outright. I don't like any of that really. Rap's a genre that I like some. I love 90s specifically, but modern mumble rap and, as it's called, trap music, more like crap music if you ask me, not interested in that. And to be honest with you, there's only Danny Brown I listen to these days in the last 10 years. I'm a rock man mostly. I'm 34 years of age now, and a lot of music that I love is from the 90s, and my taste is, it doesn't evolve that much and hasn't in the last 10 years or so. I get into new artists here and there, a couple every year, but holy shit, when I was in my teens and early 20s, I'd be getting into new artists every week. It seemed never ending. But you might be asking the question then, why are we talking about Starr today? Well, for one, I found them much earlier than any other rap artist, and I'll tell you as to why and how that came out in a minute. But also because, quite simply, my favourite, just ahead of MF Doom and all the stuff that he's done, and Tribe Called Quest, they're the other two that I adore. But then, Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., Mobb Deep, Big L, amazing. But I feel with this kind of music, it's very fleeting, and sometimes because they just get killed, but also because I think they fall off very quickly. And I think in any art form, to reach that peak and that pinnacle doesn't last very long. But Starr, for me, underrated. I'm not somebody aficionado of this genre of music. Lyrically, I'm not somebody who pulls apart how amazing the lyrics are. Like these guys are the hip hop Bob Dylan, for example. It is more about music than lyrics, and with rap, it is heavy on what the lyrics mean and why they're so important, etc. But at the end of the day, there's something special about this group, and I feel like they're underrated. Now, I did Google, Starr worst to best. There's a good half dozen, I'd say, people who've done their rankings. Mine differed somewhat, and I just want to say, if your ranking differs from mine, please be gentle about it. We don't need any trouble in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. There's never been any trouble before. I've watched people do rankings of my favourite artists, disagreed with them, but it is what it is. Now, I did listen to the whole Starr discography before doing this. I've been listening to them pretty intensely for the last month or so, apart from the first album, No More Mr. Nice Guy, which is not on Spotify. But yeah, if you like hip-hop rap, you've never listened to Starr, holy shit, you've got to. In the drop-down box, a timestamp as to when I start talking about each individual album, and also the ranking. So if you click on see more, you will see the ranking. It will be a spoiler for you, but this video is probably going to be about 40 minutes anyway, so I don't blame you if you skip ahead. But yeah, I heard of Starr and knew of them first in 2003 when I was 13 years of age. That's 21 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. And at that time, the only hip-hop rap that I'd ever heard and liked was like Coolio Gangsta's Paradise, because that was a massive song. And it was around about that time, in my early mid-teens, when it was like, okay, songs that are on the radio, some I like, some I don't like, and then I want to get into albums of music. I want to listen to more material of these bands and artists that I hear on the radio. But I knew a Starr quite simply because of the song Battle, which was on the 8 Mile soundtrack, the film featuring Eminem, of course. And there were a lot of other artists, such as 50 Cent, Exhibit, Eminem himself, many others I can't really remember. Was Jay-Z on there? I think he might be. But the Starr song Battle hooked me. The production was amazing, the sampling was outrageous, and Guru's monotone style really fun to listen to, very addictive as well. And it was many years later when I got Spotify in 2009, the year before Guru's passing, unfortunately, that I got into them. And it was weird because he died around about the same time as a guy called Peter Steele from a metal band called Typo Negative, both from the northeast of America as well, both from the kind of New York area. I think Guru's from Boston, I think. But they are pretty damn close, and I think they died within like a week of each other. And I was just starting to fall in love with both artists' music. It was like, holy shit, better be careful who I listen to here. Who am I going to kill off next? It was just really peculiar that they both passed in such a quick time, short space of time, as I was getting into the music. Such different kinds of artists, obviously, in different worlds, but awesome nevertheless. But yeah, it took me a couple of years because it is quite an extensive discography, and I think with a lot of hip hop and rap music, the music goes on for quite a while. A lot of Gangstar's albums, if you look on Wikipedia, they always last about 55 minutes. That's quite a long time. And we're talking 17, 18, 19 tracks here. A lot of features, and there's a lot to digest. So there you have it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise. I should talk about the start of the group, because obviously Guru is from Boston, but DJ Premier is actually from, I think it's Houston, which is in Texas. And obviously I'm English, so my apologies. I don't know the exact geography, but I know New York in the northeast, Boston northeast, close-ish, and then Texas at the bottom, the centre. And I think Guru got in touch with DJ Premier in 1989, said, come to my crib, let's make some tunes. He did, and the rest is history. And I've got to say, for sampling, obviously people know about Madlib and how great he is, but DJ Premier is on another level. Every single track in this discography sounds absolutely amazing, and there definitely is an art to sampling. It's not as simple as stealing someone's music. You've got more obvious samples, you've got less obvious samples, you've got multiple samples within the same song. And obviously there's a lot of great old music, but it's not extensive. It is something that will run out, the great samples. You've got to get creative. And for me, DJ Premier, I've not heard the whole catalogue of hip-hop and rap music, but 90s I've heard a lot, and there's just no one that comes close to this guy. And I do feel like they're one of these groups that are well-known and well-respected, but should be more well-known and respected. And I've said this before, I said it during my Ocean Size. Worst to best, they're a progressive rock band close to me from Manchester, and time isn't kind to some of these artists, and they get forgotten about, and that's just not good, and I will not allow this kind of shit to go unnoticed. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the worst album that they ever recorded, and I've got to say, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums here. My ranking changed once or twice during this. I think my ranking is a pretty obvious one, but there will be a few shocks in the album number 5. Please don't have a go at me. I'll try and justify my ranking the best I can. But yeah, the worst album in my opinion is the album that isn't actually on Spotify, which is unfortunate. I don't know if that's something to do with the label or whatnot, but it is the album No More Mr. Nice Guy, which was released in April 1989, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months before I was born. And I've got such crazy deja vu now, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I've recorded this video before. I have recorded it in... I recorded my vinyl pickups video. Yeah, if you're interested in music, I've got vinyl pickups, ladies and gentlemen. Check that playlist out. Because I've got to be honest, my favourite Gangstar album might be in the next video. But yeah, this is the first album, and quite simply, it's the worst in my opinion, although it's not bad, just because everything is very simplistic compared to what it would become. And I don't think I can do this album's ranked worst to best without talking about the evolution of the genre of music that they were making, because gangster rap and more hardcore shit wasn't starting until the mid-90s, 93, 94. And obviously everything's changing around them, and the press and the media are getting interested as well, and a lot of money's being made, etc. And they reference this very articulately and very well, does Guru, during a lot of their songs. But yeah, No More Mr. Nice Guy, the rap game was very different at that time in 1989. I don't know who the big artists would have been at that time. Probably that Eric B and Rakim Paid in Full album. I think that came in 1988. I never listened to that, to be honest with you. The production is very different, whether it's sampling or not sampling with this kind of music back then. And if you guys have got any recommendations for me, look, hit them in the drop down box. I don't mind whatsoever. I'll give anything a go. I will be looking online to see if it's well respected and whatnot, but there's plenty of albums in this genre I've never heard, so please go ahead and help me out. But yes, there are 14 tracks here, and the one I've given as my favourite is the first, called Premier and the Guru, and this is their worst album in my opinion. It's still not bad, but there's not much to differentiate these tracks. Gang Starr would follow the same kind of formulas, and there's another track where Guru's talking to probably a journalist or somebody in the music industry about how Gang Starr work, and he's talking about we update our formulas and we just elevate it, we tweak it for the time and the era we're making this and what's good at the time, and I think this is a good track to listen to. I'm going to put it in the drop down box. I don't really know what much to say about this. I don't want... I did this with Black Sabbath a couple of years ago, one of my favourite groups of all time, of course, the Mighty Sabbath, a Black Sabbath poster, and someone said, I don't think you've listened to these albums, and I was like, no, I think I have. It's just that obviously you're going to have less to say about your least favourite most of the time, unless you passionately hate it, and I don't passionately hate this. I just think it's pretty average. Guru sounds a bit too monotone. He's a man with a monotone style, ladies and gentlemen. That's how he's known as. But his flaws are great, and I think he sounds absolutely fantastic. Sorry if the webcam is making a few jerky movements, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's wrong with my webcam, but it's not working 100% as it should. But yeah, I'm sure there's a few people who won't be happy, but No More Mr. Nice Guy is my least favourite. Now, in at number 6, and I can progressively talk more about these albums as we get going, it's the posthumous album, One of the Best Yet. And that saying, one of the best yet, is something that Guru would often say in many, many songs. God knows how many songs he said it in. I'd like to know. He said one of the best yet. Indeed, of course, they were and still are. But this was only released in 2019, and I remember a few months before it came out, hearing about, there's going to be a posthumous new Gang Starr album. I wasn't all that excited, just because in the modern day, I'm sure we're all getting used to rehashes, remasters, remakes, in all cultures, in all different kinds of industries of art forms, movies, games, music. So I was a little bit cynical, to say the least. But overall, although this is my second least favourite, I have to say, I listened to this just yesterday. The first half of this especially is really strong. Needless to say, the production's great. I don't exactly know when this was recorded, because it was April 2010 when Guru left us. So a lot of these tracks could have been the early 2000s, because there are rumours that they both fell out, unfortunately, before his passing. If you look on his Wikipedia page, there's a guy called MC Solar, who actually featured on one of his Jazzmatazz albums. Guru did his own jazzy albums as well. The first two, which are fantastic. The others, they're not that great, but the first two are fantastic. And he features on one of the tracks, The French Gentleman. And a lot of people don't blame him for Guru's death, of course, because it was a heart attack, and then there were complications after that as to why he died. But he's been withholding the truth I should say, from people in regards to Guru and how he felt about Premier before his death. So that's really unfortunate to hear. But this posthumous album, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best yet, features guest appearances from J. Cole, he's a modern rapper, Royce da 5'9", I know him because he's one of Eminem's boys, isn't he? Q-Tip, the legend, M.O.P., the hardcore guys, and Talib Kweli. And the second half of this album definitely trails off. But like I said, the first half is really solid. The song I'm going to put in the drop-down box as my favourite is the song What's Real, featuring Royce da 5'9". Gives it a bit of a 90s vibe. The song Hitman, featuring Q-Tip, doesn't quite hit the mark. Not as good as you would hope, considering the fact that Q-Tip is featuring. Lights Out gives it a little bit more of a hardcore feel. M.O.P., which I've never really listened to, and maybe I should, they're a bit more kind of aggressive within the tone. And that's the thing that Gang Starr always did really well. The mixture of jazzy tracks, more hardcore and aggressive ones, songs that you can tell got sampling from funk music and soul music and shit like that from the 70s. There's always a great balance, and there was always one ballad There was always one song for the ladies, I've noticed, on every single album, and it's like, yes, that's like, I think from Moment of Truth, it is She Knows What She Wants, which is a great smooth track, and then on the Ownerz, it's like, this is the version of that. So many rappers. Business or Art is a great one, featuring Talib Kweli, one of the best. Oh no, that's an interlude. There are a few interludes in rap music, and a lot of the time they get in the way, but it's something that always seems to happen. But there is one here which is very poignant, and it's Guru's son. It's just called Keith Kasim Elam. And Take Flight, Militia Part 4. I think Militia Part 3 was on Moment of Truth. And there's the song that finishes the whole Gangster discography called Bless the Mic. I don't think it is a great track, and it doesn't end well. I call it the worst song on the album. I like it musically. A song called Get Together, and there's an appearance here from a lady called Nitty Scott, a lady rapper. Don't really know of her, but then there's also Neo, and his feature does not really work. It doesn't suit the style of music, and I don't like it at all. It's just a bit jarring and a bit peculiar. But overall, if you've never listened to One of the Best yet because you're worried it won't be as solid as the gangster music of the 90s and the Ownerz, then I would say give it a go, see what you think. It's a solid album. It's worse than all of the albums from when Guru was alive, in my opinion, apart from No Mr. Nice Guy. But it's solid and enjoyable, and more good music isn't a bad thing. But yeah, my favourite, I'm putting down in the Dropbox, is What's Real. Okay, number 5 now, ladies and gentlemen, and I think this is probably going to be the most contentious one. I'm trying to keep this video under 40 minutes, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Is the second album called Step in the Arena. It's a second studio album, released January 1991. Holy shit, running in at 50 minutes. And I think with the first album, someone else was helping them produce the album. Yeah, someone called the 45 King. I don't know who that is. But with this album, it's just Guru and Premier. And some people will possibly have this as the ultimate favourite, but it's got to be said that all 5 of these albums now are absolutely astonishing. And I think most people would say that No More Mr. Nice Guy and One of the Best Yet are the 2 worst, but yeah, this is my least favourite of the 5 classic ones because I feel like they're still learning about what makes their music great, and Guru with his monotone style. Some of these tracks might sound a little bit samey with each other, if you will. There's not much variety within the tracks. There's 18 tracks here, starting with Step in the Arena, Form of Intellect, Execution of a Chump, Who's Gonna Take the Weight, Beyond Comprehension is great, Check the Technique, Lovesick. Now you remember what I said before about She Knows What She Wants? Lovesick is where it started. That's the one for the ladies. Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, What Do You Want This Time, Street Ministry, Just to Get a Rep is possibly the one that was a single, and it's one of the best on the album. But the one that I'm putting as my favourite here... Ooh, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, I just got to get the document. Oh shit, where is the document? I had a document full... Oh, I've lost the document. Okay, that's interesting. I think my favourite from the album, I had a document which I made and now I've lost it. Wonderful. Is Precisely the Right Rhymes. It's a little bit quicker. It's got this jazzy feel to it. Running in at 3 minutes 22. It's probably one of the longer songs on the album, to be honest. The actual longest is the track Take a Rest. But from the off here, this is consistent. All of the top 5 Gangstar albums are consistent, even though there's rap artists who probably make tracks and albums half the length of this, with half the amount of songs. It's pretty damn impressive if you ask me. And straight out the box here, in early 91, people must have been listening to this knowing that these guys were really good at what they were doing. And lyrically, because we've got to talk about the lyrics, we'll talk about coming up how Guru's talking more about gangster rap and what's going on around him, and people that he knows unfortunately meeting their demise, and people being greedy in the rap game, you know what I'm saying? And here, on Step in the Arena, it's a little bit more innocent, perhaps. And that innocence just goes over time. And some of the albums, especially Hard to Earn, have got a much darker edge. And obviously that is great evolution of the band, if you want to call them a band, with me in a hip-hop group. But, yeah, it's just natural for many kinds of different artists, I guess. That kind of shit happens. But there's not a bad track here. I really like them all. I just feel like they're a little bit samey. Premier's production is phenomenal. There isn't one track where I think that doesn't sound right. But it's a little bit samey. More 70s soul music here than what he would go on to kind of sample, in my opinion. I should have had a look, really, of all the samples. There is a video I watched of MF Doom samples, and quite interesting, you know, because it's nice to know where the music comes from and then perhaps listen to the original pieces. But coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ownerz, which was released in 2003. And for a lot of people, I get the feeling that they're going to say that this is maybe the worst or the second to worst. But honestly, the posthumous album, No More Mr. Nice Guy, nah, I'm sorry, but the Ownerz is better than those in my opinion. And I also prefer it to Step in the Arena. Now, that probably will be a hot take, but I've done these worst to best videos for a while now, and I've not had that many hot takes. Look, it's very close. Perhaps sometimes when I do this, I make the wrong decision, and I might well actually like Step in the Arena more than the Ownerz, but it's really hard to say. I feel the reason I've gone for this one is because with Daily Operation, Hard to Earn, Moment of Truth, and then this album, they know how to play the game, and they know how to make great music, and the solid tracks on this album. I can't say that I find many weak at all. 19 yet again. Obviously a few kind of intro tracks and the interludes, etc., which I usually don't like, of course, or I already mentioned, but 57 minutes in length, holy shit. This is on the Virgin EMI Records label. It seems to me that they were on that label for the whole of their career, although having a look here, Daily Operation was on one called Chrysalis, which is a British one, and Moment of Truth was on one called New Tribe, as well as Virgin Records. Okay, interesting. But yeah, the Ownerz comes after the best run of albums, and expectations were probably the highest they've ever been after Moments of Truth. And maybe that's why some people don't like it. I don't know. Even looking at you look at the ratings on Wikipedia, you got 70 out of 100. AllMusic give it 4.5 stars. And yeah, I have to agree, I bloody love this album. Put Up or Shut Up, that's a great track. Sabotage, this ain't Beastie Boys. Right Where You Stand, Skills, which is the one I'm putting in the drop down box. That is absolutely immense. Deadly Habits, brilliant lyrics. Nice Girl, Wrong Place. Now, I think that might be the one for the ladies in this album. She knows what she wants. And Lovesick, for example. That's this version. Riot Act, one of the best. Capture, Militia Part 3. Who Got Guns, Peace of Mind. Same Team, No Game. In This Life, which features Snoop Dogg. Not one of my favourites. It's a decent track, but I think Gangstar have got many, many more that are better. The Ownerz, Zoning, and then Eulogy. Now, I was talking before about how Gangstar had formulas and they would update them. Like the smooth songs for the ladies, there's one per album. Well, with Moments of Truth, there's an absolutely astonishing final track called In Memory Of, and it's this beautiful dreamy piece made by Premier, and Guru's talking about all these people who passed away, and you can hear somebody saying rest in peace. It's Notorious B.I.G. who's saying it, who obviously passed away the year before, and Eulogy is basically a continuation of that. All the people who've left the building since Moment of Truth up until the Ownerz, and that's the last track on the album. And I don't doubt that if they'd have made another album after the Ownerz, that they'd have done the same with the last track. It's a really interesting piece. It's much more morose and sad but quite strangely uplifting as well. Beautiful song. That's Eulogy. And Zoning, the song, the Ownerz itself. Production wise, this is probably more similar to A Moment of Truth, I would say. Makes sense considering I'm assuming that's the best selling album. It's the one that's got the most critical acclaim. And I just see it as maybe Moment of Truth Part 2. Little less consistent, but I really love this album. I feel that some people give it a hard time, a little too much. But I can understand people saying it's not in the top 3, for example. Not got much more to say about it. I'm finding it a lot harder to discuss these albums as opposed to the rock music that I usually talk about. But hey, if someone on my subscribers list gets into this amazing group this way, then it's all good. But running in at number 3, obviously an amazing album. Some people have it as the best. By the end of this album, I'm just starting to feel a little fatigued. It's an astonishing album though. It is 1994's Hard to Earn. And even with a title, Guru's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet here, ladies and gentlemen. He's a little bit angry. And this isn't an ultra hardcore aggressive rap album, but there's a little bit more anger here. I think Guru's saying, you know, we're one of the best yet. Someone give us our props. And lyrically, it's a bit darker. It's 1994. The rap game is heating up. And there's money to be made. And the suits are getting involved. And there's a little bit of feeling of unease. And it comes through in a good way in the music. It helps it. But I feel by the end, I'm a little bit bored. As opposed to the albums that are coming after this. My 2 favourites. But it is an incredibly strong album with some of my very favourites from the group. Now I'm just going to try to find that document. Oh, there it is. Long story short, I changed my resolution on my laptop to play a game. And I lost it. Gangstar, worst to best. Here it is. Oh, look at all these notes. I made notes as well. Let's read the notes. I've put notes for all 4 albums that we've spoke about so far, ladies and gentlemen. And now you'll never hear them. What does it say about Hard to Earn? Continued confidence, but also more controlled aggression. As said by AllMusic. I was looking at the website AllMusic. More themes of guns and gangsters. Ite chill, showing off messages. These are just little notes, these guys, not in full sentences. This just for myself. Flip the script. This album's version of I'm the Man. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Brilliant. Constant chorus of Suckers Need Bodyguards, a little off. Yeah, there's a track called Suckers Need Bodyguards. Its chorus is a bit grating for me. It's one of the songs that people love from this album. I think it was a single perhaps, but I find it one of the most annoying moments of the album. One of the worst. It's still really good, don't get me wrong. And I put Premier Goating, showing off his goat credentials. Yeah, the production is just absolutely off the scales, ladies and gentlemen. But what I meant by flip the script, this version of I'm the Man, on the album before this, Daily Operation, there's this kind of freeway track. I think Guru gets involved in the end. A fella called Lil Dap and Jeru the Damager. I've never listened to his music. His early stuff is supposed to be pretty damn classic. Big friend of the group, Jeru the Damager, and they're both saying why they're the man. And on this album, Hard to Earn, let's have a look here. Oh shit, I'm on the wrong album. Yeah, there's just basically a lot of different performers. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I can't find Flip the Script now. What the fuck is going on here? Oh my god, Flip the Script is actually on the Daily Operation album. So I've got the name of the track wrong. It might be Ite. No, it's Speak Your Clout. It's a track called Speak Your Clout because Lil Dap and Jeru the Damager are on it again. Holy shit, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. This man knows nothing. Apologies. 17 tracks on this album. They're slacking. Not as much as before, but it is 59 minutes in length. I tell you what, not many hip-hop rap albums are that long. And there isn't a track which is bad. And it begins with the capitalised track with no spaces, A Long Way to Go. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I remember many years ago Googling why this song sounds so peculiar and Guru's vocals sound so peculiar. I think he was drunk at the time and he went into the recording booth and just did this. I remember leaving a message on Last FM many years ago saying, did he have a cold? Because he sounds even more nasally, and he did have quite a nasally voice and a rapping tone, if you will. But no, apparently he was just drunk, came into the booth, and you can tell he just sounds different. And it sounds off, but it works in its favour. It's a peculiar song. It's got a Tribe Called Quest sample at the beginning. How far must you go to gain respect? And it's just so catchy, so good. And then the choruses with Guru, he sounds even lower, his tone, and it's got a badass feel. And it's just head bobbing, as so much of Gang Starr's music is. Chord of the Streets, phenomenal. Brainstorm, tons of guns. The Planet, Ite, Chill, Speak Your Clout. DWYCK, Words from the Nutcracker, that's a kind of segue track. Mass Appeal, the legendary track that it is. Now, my favourite from the album, I'm putting as Blowing Up the Spot, but Mass Appeal, if you've never listened to Gang Starr and you like rap music, give it a listen now on YouTube. It is phenomenal. That was, I think, the second Gang Starr song I ever heard. Unbelievable production. And I'm just thinking of some of Guru's lyrics, man. They're pretty damn funny. Blowing Up the Spot, absolutely absurd. I think it's like some kind of James Brown track or something like that, production on that song, and it's really funky. Suckers Need Bodyguards, Know Your Mind, Mostly Their Voice, FALA, and Coming for Dead Ass. Oh, Daters, but it does say Dead Ass. Not a weak track on here. The one I'm putting as my favourite is indeed Blowing Up the Spot. And I'm looking at this, we're going over 30 minutes. It's so hard with hip-hop and rap because with a lot of rock music, I always say it's the music, it's not the lyrics, but it's a mixture with this kind of music. And it is with any kind of music, but I feel bad because I'm not talking about the lyrics a lot. Guru was a great lyricist. Maybe they're better in the rap game, hardcore aficionados might say, but he was still good. There's one track, I don't know if it's on this album. Is it? No, it's not Mass Appeal. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Let me just have a look. Money's growing like grass with the Mass Appeal. I mean, enough said, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of rappers would be like one-time wonders, and indeed, I've already said it, they were. Couldn't say a fly rhyme if there was one right under their noses. I hate those motherfucking posers, but I'm so real to them it's scary, and with my unique skills, nah, you can't compare me. And no, we don't make whack tracks, and all the suckers get pushed back when I'm kicking real facts. I don't know what this means. I represent set up shit like a tent, boy. Oh, I know I set up a tent. You're paranoid because you're a son like Elroy. What I love about Genius.com is it tells you what it means a lot of the time. It doesn't always, and it says here, other rappers are the Elroy to Guru's George Jetson. It's a cartoon, okay. And you'd be happy as hell to get a record deal. Maybe your soul you'd sell to have Mass Appeal. I should look at the lyrics of my favourite artists a lot more, especially in this genre. But ladies and gentlemen, Hard to Earn, fantastic album, some people's favourites, my third. The reason being, the second best Gang Starr album for me, the third. Daily Operation, released in May 1992, running at 54 minutes in length, a little shorter than the other ones, with 18 tracks. The usual segue tracks and interludes are here. I do believe they bring down most rap albums, but it just seems like nearly every, if not every hip-hop and rap artist do this. I don't exactly know why, but there we go. The Place Where We Dwell, Flip the Script, I already spoke about that. Ex-Girl to Next Girl, smooth track for the ladies, remember what I said? Soliloquy of Chaos, unbelievable, I'm the man. Take It Personal, amazing. Too Deep, No Shame in My Game, Conspiracy, The Illest Brother, Hardcore Composer, BYS, ladies and gentlemen, you'll want a number 9 and a number 9 large with that one, I can tell you. Much Too Much, Take Two and Pass, and Stay Tuned, which is fantastic. Basically, Stay Tuned, just saying we've only just begun. But now we're here, we're going to keep making great music of this ilk, of this kind, and indeed they definitely did. I wanted to keep this under 40 minutes in length, ladies and gentlemen. We are running in at 35 minutes, so it's probably going to go to about 45 because I've got to talk a little bit more in depth about my favourite album from Gang Starr. But why is this number 2? Why is it ahead of the Ownerz and Hard to Earn? I think there's a bigger chasm of quality between the Ownerz and Hard to Earn than Hard to Earn and Daily Operation, which are neck and neck. I just like the jazzier samples from Daily Operation, maybe less of a harder feel lyrically. It finds the band with a nice balance of aggression and Guru just having fun. And let's see the notes on this album. Guru, monotone, but not as much. More confident, yeah. Flip the script, early banger, you telling me. Soliloquy of Chaos, great track, production, and lyrics even. The story, yeah, Soliloquy of Chaos, I'm going to talk about that one in a minute. Take It Personal, banger. More of a social aspect to the lyrics, yeah. About the plight of perhaps black people in that part of America at the time. Illest Brother, insane track. That's the one I am putting in the drop-down menu. Honestly, the Illest Brother, it's not even known as one of the best tracks, but it's so chaotic, the sampling and the production. But Guru's just spitting all these different lyrics, and it's so catchy. I've never heard anything like it. I think it's one of the best rap songs ever, and I don't think it gets the props that it deserves. I think the one that does is probably... what was the single for this album? It doesn't say what the single was, so I don't know which... Oh, there we go. Take It Personal. Yeah. But Take It Personal's amazing. It's possibly my second favourite or third favourite. But The Illest Brother is just amazing. I think it's got a Richard Pryor sample at the end where he's doing a comedy routine. That guy was funny. Brilliant. What else we got here? Oh yeah, Pryor ending. Yeah, awesome. BYS, a number 9 large. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, the absolutely legendary scene in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where CJ, Big Smoke, Sweet, and Ryder are placing their order at, was it Burger Shot or Clucking Bell? One of the two. That's the track that plays in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Absolutely amazing. And when I played that game, when it came out, when I was 14... At the start of this, I think I mentioned that I heard Gang Starr first from Battle. I think I mentioned that. I don't know. But that's when I found Gang Starr, but didn't listen to the discography till I was older, obviously. In 2009, when I got Spotify. But it doesn't say during the cutscene that it's Gang Starr. And on the old Grand Theft Auto games, it never told you what song was playing. And I don't think the DJ told you the track first. So I didn't know it was them. I don't know if I cottoned on, to be honest, and realised. But yeah, that's the song that plays, so you're always going to be well known now, aren't you? Because that is one of the iconic cutscenes in video game history. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah, brilliant song as well. Take Two and Pass reminds me of Mad Villain, is what I've put. Okay, Take Two and Pass reminds me of Mad Villain, does it? I've just get Wikipedia. Not Wikipedia. You're going to probably hear the track play for a second here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want copyright. So I just want to see what that sounds like. There's a song off Mad Villainy where it's talking about weed. So I don't know why this reminds me of it. Maybe it's just because of the lyrical content. Yeah. Yeah, it's that. It might even be the same track that it's being sampled there. It's America's Most Blunted from Mad Villainy, it reminds me of. Bing, bing. Amazing. But you can hear Guru there. That's his style. That's the voice. And it doesn't change that often. But he can mix it up faster, slow, in many different ways. Amazing. So damn good. Daily Operation, my second favourite from Gang Starr. But number 1, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making any surprises here, am I? I didn't even listen to this album in the midst of doing this ranking because I knew that it was my favourite. And nothing was going to change that. It is the 5th studio album released in 1998, running in at 78 minutes in length. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's an hour and 20 minutes. It's a higher level for me, but I'm not gonna call anybody out who says that one of the other albums is better than this. I always say it with hip hop music. I always tend to think there's a few tracks that could be cut, and the interludes, like I've already mentioned, the segue tracks. But this is just a phenomenal album, and for me, it's not just one of the best rap albums ever, but one of the greatest albums of all time. Even Pitchfork Media ranked it as the 16th best album of 1998, and it's on that. Is it not on? That albums you need to listen to before you die. Well, it should be, because it's absolutely phenomenal. You Know My Steez, Robin Hood Theory, Work, Royalty, Above the Clothes, JFK to LAX. It's a setup, Moment of Truth itself. BI versus Friendship, The Militia, the original. The Rep Grows Bigger, What I'm Here For, She Knows What She Wants, Smooth Track for the Ladies. New York, Straight Talk, My Advice to You. Make 'em Pay, Mall, Betrayal, Next Time, In Memory Of. And for me, with this album, I was talking about the smooth tracks for the ladies. Well, maybe there's two. Betrayal's not for the ladies, but it's got that slower feeling. There's more of an emotional vibe here, but there's a few hard-hitting tracks because Freddie the Fox, Mr. Bumpy Knuckles, is featuring, and he's got a hardcore, gritty voice. He really suits that style. And there's just an amazing balance here. It's much longer than any other album that they did. The production, for me, is the best it's ever been. Premiere on point. A few hardships as well, because, No More Mr. Nice Guy, 89. Only just over a year to a year and a half. Step in the Arena. A year or two later, Daily Operation. 2 years later, Hard to Earn. And then there's a gap. There's a 4-year gap. And Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. have died since this album came out. The West Coast, East Coast beef, all that shit. And just like grunge did in the early to mid-90s, hip-hop is changing, not for the better, as we head into a time of Napster and MTV not caring about music, and whatever genre it is, seeing more manufactured pop music instead of great music of rock and hip-hop and different kinds of good music. And you can hear that with the lyrics of this album, the production. It's just phenomenal. It's a legendary album. I would like to have it on vinyl, but I'm guessing it's a 4-disc vinyl, which will be a pain in the ass. But it would be well deserved. I've got about 40 vinyls in my collection, and the only hip hop ones I've got are Midnight Marauders from Tribe Called Quest, and obviously Wu-Tang Clan. that's classic. I want Mad Villainy, I want MF Doom, I want Gangstar, but then I want ones that I'm not sure I'd be able to get, to be honest with you, because that's the way it is with vinyls. There's just some albums that don't get another pressing, if you will, or have never been put onto vinyl. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We've got to look out for those reissues, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you that much. But the song, let's have a look at my notes here. Insanely consistent. Still one or two tracks which might not be quite as good, but overall the very best. Best flows and production, samples and guest appearances, yeah. Title track is contender for one of the best songs of all time of any genre. It's the one I'm putting in the drop-down box. It's called Moments of Truth. I think lyrically it is phenomenal. I think musically it's incredible. I did say before, and I'd be dancing between albums now, and it doesn't really make sense, but I kind of wanted to talk about the illest brother from Daily Operation, and I realise now that we're at nearly 45 minutes. Yeah, you look at Genius.com with the illest brother. Have a look at it. Have a look how many different lyrics are there. Your modern mumble rapper can't do 10% of that in a track. Yeah. But, where are we going here? I'm getting lost on Genius.com, ladies and gentlemen. I really am. Let's see if this website can give us any more information on the album as well. Because I do believe he was arrested, Guru. I don't know what it was about, but he was arrested a year or two maybe before the album was released. I don't know if they caught him with a gun, but I know you're allowed to have a gun in America, so I don't get the story. I don't know what it's about. You can hear this at the start of JFK to LAX. LAX, which is one of my favourite tracks. Guru flips his arrest on gun possession charges into a positive message for the youth. DJ Premier provided some background information about the track. Oh wow, and there's a long story. Oh, interesting. Later redone by Madlib. Woohoo, the two goats, are you kidding me? As LAX to JFK. Both songs sample Time to Break Down by the Supremes. There you go. We're talking about some goats of the music industry all around here, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, JFK to LAX. Whoa. Mad song. In memory of, absolutely beautiful ending. And it's DJ Premier, because I'll admit, for many years I was listening to these songs and not even realising DJ Premier's voice, because his voice means nothing to me, because I've never heard him talk. I know he's from the south. But yeah, he's Mary Parker, Loretta Randall, all these people. And then I think there's one from Princess Diana as well, somewhere in here. It's kind of crazy. Even MF Doom's brother, yeah. God damn it. Absolutely beautiful ode to all these people all at once. Absolutely phenomenal. And the production just fits the bill. What I'm here for, the rap, blah, blah, blah. Moment of Truth. It's the best rap song, maybe my favourite of all time. And there's all these messages. Guru did this quite a lot as well, and it makes me really laugh. All these women leaving, like, voice messages on his answer phone. It's like, I don't know. All these women are getting played. The Guru's just loving it. Absolutely unbelievable. You can't blame the ladies. He was a fellow bald-headed man after all. They say it's lonely at the top. In whatever you do, you always got to watch motherfuckers around you. Nobody's invincible. No plan is foolproof. We all must meet a moment of truth. And of course now, Guru has something you can't deny. Incredibly beautiful lyrics. And I wish I could look at these lyrics and talk to you guys about them. But I just ask that if you haven't heard this track, listen to it. And if you like it, just have a look at the lyrics again. If you've never heard it, look at the lyrics. They're phenomenal. They're absolutely amazing. Where are my favourites here? Verse 2. Sometimes you gotta go. You gotta dig deep when problems come near. Don't fear, things get severe for everybody, everywhere. Why do bad things happen to good people? Seems that life is just a constant war between good and evil. The situation that I'm facing is mad amazing. To think such problems can arise from minor confrontations. Now I'm contemplating in my bedroom pacing. Dark clouds over my head. My heart's racing. Suicide? Nah, I'm not a foolish guy. Don't even feel like drinking or getting high. Because all that's going to do, really, is accelerate the anxieties that I wish that I could alleviate. But wait, I've been through a whole lot of shit before, so I ought to be able to withstand some more. But I'm sweating though. My eyes are turning red and I'm ready to lose my mind. But instead, I used my mind and put down the knife and take the bullets out my 9. My only crime was that I was too damn kind. I knew some scandalous motherfuckers want to take what's mine, but they can't take the respect that I've earned in my lifetime. And they'll never stop the furious force of my rhymes. So like they say, every dog has its day. And like they say, God works in mysterious ways. So I pray, remembering the days of my youth, as I prepare to meet my moment of truth. Wow, that is absolutely fucking insane. And I think with this kind of music, I think a lot of rappers are too scared to put something out like that in case it'll come across as cheesy. But for me personally, there's nothing cheesy about it. It's phenomenal. And verse 3 isn't quite as strong as verse 2, but for me, that right there is one of the best moments in music history. Absolutely phenomenal. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been my Gangsta Worst Best. There ain't going to be another one for hip-hop. There might be Tribe Called Quest, but they kind of fell off by the end. R.I.P. Five Dog from the Zulu Nation. Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you heard, but he likes some black, Spanish, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. That's enough rapping from me now. But yeah, amazing group. Always been my favourite, unless something big happens in Hippity Hoppity. I think this year I'm going to give Tyler, the Creator, a go, because apparently he's one of the best from the last 10 years, and he's got this kind of silly vibe, as well as serious at the same time. You guys want to give me any recommendations of hip-hop and rap music, please feel free to do so, because I'm a rock man primarily. Apologies about the video being so long, but I'd hear people when I do these to skip along the track, the video to find when I start talking about each individual album, or of course, as always, watch in 2 times speed. Thanks for watching, guys. Guru, rest in peace, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.